This next to me is the Mahindra XUV700, and it is Australia's cheapest 7-seater SUV. And in this review, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about it to find out if you should buy one over its competitors, because this segment is pretty competitive and there are a lot of alternatives. First, I am going to run you through the model grades, talk about the pricing and additional options, then move on to the design, the interior, the technology, its practicality, the powertrain, and then I'm going to drive it. So before we walk around the car, let's talk about a brief overview about the XUV. The whole range is front-wheel drive only, and the base model starts from $36,990, whilst the top specification, which is the variant I am featuring in the video, is priced from $39,990, and this is the type of vehicle to compare it with things like the Mitsubishi Outlander, the Kia Sportage, and the Nissan X-Trail. And in terms of options, there are 5 colours to choose from, which are all free of charge. And whilst we're talking about pricing, do you need finance? Well, head over to driver.com.au. They are designed to get you the best personalised rate for you, comparing the best deals with no impact to your credit score, and there are no hidden fees, and the whole quote can be done online within minutes. And if you finance with Driver using my link down below, you will get a free $150 fuel voucher. Let's now talk about the design. So this particular example is finished in electric blue, and up the front you have a set of LED headlights and LED daytime running lights, along with LED fog lights and underbody cladding as well as this gloss black radiator grille. And moving towards the side view, you have poppy outy door handles. You've also got a set of 18-inch diamond cut alloy wheels, complemented by black wheel arch cladding. And lastly, up the top you have a set of roof rails. And if we move towards the rear design of the UXV, it features part LED and part halogen bulb rear tail lights at the back, extra body cladding on the bottom of the bumper bar, and lastly, as always, styling is subjective, so let me know down in the comments below of what you guys think of the design. Okay, moving on to the interior. So before you climb inside, you have a remote key, keyless entry, and push ignition start. And first impressions inside the cabin, look, it presents very well for a car under $40,000. You have this soft white leather on the dashboard. Even the glove box is soft to the touch, white leather, and you've also got this white material up the top here. On the top of the doors, it does get a bit durable, even down the bottom like every other car, and up the top here, but overall it feels very good. And on this top spec model, you get a panoramic glass sunroof. You also get a leather wrapped steering wheel that feels very good to hold, and the steering has tilt and reach adjustment. And you've also got electric adjustment for the driver's seat with manual lumbar support. Even the electric seat controls look like they came straight off a Mercedes. Now moving on to the infotainment, it all runs off this 10.25-inch touchscreen display, and overall this system is pretty straightforward to use. And you scroll up the top here to access additional applications, or you can use this dial down in the center. You've also got physical buttons for the dual zone climate control and physical buttons on the steering wheel for shortcut menus. Now in terms of the features, you have fun in and fun with. We'll start with fun in. That brings up all your entertainment, and for radio you have FM and AM radio, no digital radio. You've also got the ability to plug in a USB for videos, and it also has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. This is what Apple CarPlay looks like. As you can see, it takes up the full screen. It is very responsive to use and works very well with the system. Now if I go back into the home, go into fun with, that is a power and torque display, as well as a G meter. And additional key features to the AXL, you get a 12-speaker Sony sound system and wireless phone charging. Now moving on to safety and assistance, on this top spec you get blind spot monitoring. However, they're not located on the wing mirrors, they're located on the center display, so when you indicate, it shows a camera view left and right. Another key feature on the top spec, you get a 360-degree camera showing you multi-angle views and any additional angle around the car. And you can also take photos, so if you press this button, the images store in your photo gallery. Otherwise, standard features include rear parking sensors, autonomous emergency braking, a lane keeping assistant, adaptive cruise control, and speed sign recognition. Now moving on to the digital cockpit, so it all runs off this 10.5-inch display. Not only you can go through the center menu looking at fuel information, vehicle info, navigation, driver assistance. In terms of themes, you can change the layout, a minimal look, normal, or you can have additional information depending on your preference, what you want to see. And lastly, moving on to storage, you have a sunglasses holder up the top here, a decent sized glove box, a decent sized center console that is also air conditioned, 2 small cup holders in the center, wireless phone charging on this top specification model, along with 2 USB-A charging ports, and decent door bin storage that could fit a litre of water. Let's now move on to the back seats inside the UXV. So you can manually recline this backwards and forwards. And with this bench in place, I've still got plenty of headroom considering this does have a panoramic glass sunroof. And if you do need extra room, you can move the passenger seats forwards and backwards with this manual lever here. And behind the seats you have mat pockets, as well as air conditioning vents with a USB-C charging port and a slot there for a mobile phone. And over here, a fold down armrest with 2 small cup holders and decent door bin storage that can also fit a litre of water. And lastly, for baby seats, these 2 outboard seats are ISOFIX compatible, and right behind me there are free top tether points. Now moving on to the third row inside the Mahindra. So like many of its other rivals, for a full-size adult like me, there isn't that much space for my knees or my head, but you do however have plenty of legroom. But overall, for a short journey, I would be fine in the back here. And you can also lift this up and pull down the rear seat, giving yourself some additional headroom and overall more knee room. So it isn't too bad back here. You do have some creature comforts like air vents and a fan speed dial, along with some cup holders, tie down hooks and these grab handles. Let's now move on to the boot space. So all model grades feature a manual tailgate, and as you can see, nice wide opening, a decent amount of space with the third row in place, and you've also got a nice flat floor and a bit of underfloor storage, revealing the toolkit for the spare tyre, which is located underneath the car. And when you drop the third row with the manual levers, that gives you even more space for a week's worth of luggage. No official figures from Mahindra in terms of capacity, and when you walk towards the back doors using the manual levers, you can quite easily drop the second row, revealing even more space. Under the bonnet, all variants of the UXV feature a 2-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. All of its outputs are on your screen now, including the ownership information, and all variants are front-wheel drive only, paired to a 6-speed automatic. And the official combined fuel consumption reading is 8.3 litres per 100, so let's get it out on the drive and see how it performs. What is the Mahindra XUV like to drive? Starting off with parking. You've got good all-round visibility, decent wing mirrors. However, if you do have the rear headrest up, it does impair the visibility a little bit, but that is something you can live with. You've also got the rear parking sensors. And as you can see, that is easy to do. And in terms of fuel consumption, the manufacturer's claim is 8.3 litres per 100, whilst I've achieved 8.6 litres per 100 with a mixture of city driving, freeway driving, and for a 7-seater SUV, I think that's fantastic really. In terms of power, look, it's got enough power and torque for everyday driving. The suspension does a very good job of soaking up the bumps. It has been designed to be soft. If there was one thing to criticise this car, the steering is a little bit vague. It doesn't really have that much feel, but again, for its price point, it drives very well. And the Mahindra's competitors don't drive that much better. And I think for everyday driving, this is fine. And it's comfortable as well. You do have a lot of assistance features, and sometimes I question, is it really worth stepping up to a more mainstream brand for an extra $10,000 or $20,000, because you're not really giving anything up in terms of refinement and driving dynamics. So with my driving impressions out of the way, let's now wrap up this video with a verdict. So what is my final verdict on the Mahindra XUV700L? Well, at this price point, it is a very good 7-seater SUV. The steering feel isn't great, but if you can live with that, it is excellent value for money and really well packaged for its price point in this 7-seater SUV segment. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions about the car, share your thoughts in the comments down below, hit like and subscribe, and hit that bell icon to receive notifications every time I upload a new car review.